Have you ever asked how to know what to do or what to do for knowing how to do a project? It is time to overcome with what's and how's and learn how to ask and answer. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Elle from Analyze Elle. Now that we learn about planning a project, this question comes to our mind. How to manage a project? Do you remember that we talked about companies' policies as a parameter of doing project? Where do those policies come from? The first answer is management methods. You know, when you and your client make a deal to make a project, it should be answered that which method of management could be fine. Yes, that's the main question in every person's mind. But do we have any answer for that? Absolutely. When clients come to us with an order, the team has some questions. They would ask about the platform of the project, standards that the client has in its mind, duration, references, output features, questions about characters and environments. But what should you ask? And with the answer of crew questions, you should make a table. Put them all beside each other and with the advice of management team, make a decision about the management style you need. Okay. Let's see how to know which method and software could be possible for the project. For this part, I use Stacy Matrix. This matrix is theory of Professor Stacy about the complexity of doing something and a possible option of making a project. Let's watch part of an interview by Professor and enjoy together.
So it's an idea where you don't create something and that's it. You create something and it gives rise to its own issues and problems and good aspects, and life involves carrying on dealing with all that. So Winston Churchill he talked about history as being one damned thing after another. And I think that from this complexity perspective, that's what organizational life is.
It's as if you know what we want and how to do this. It's kind of like a simple project. If we know what, but we're not somehow certain to how to do it, or know how to do it, but don't know what we want exactly, we have a complicated project. The more question about what and how will move us in a complex part. And when we don't know what we want and how to do that, it means we face a chaos. Another thing that other researchers added to this matrix is the number of people. A more complex project means more people and the hardness of project growth. After knowing all of this, I need to mention that even Professor Stacy changed his mind about applying the natural science to human action. Human agents are basically interdependent. They respond to each other and their choices and intention play into each other, producing unpredictable emergent patterns over time. Stacy and colleagues named it complex responsive process of relating. Now this question might be asked, for what reason we can use this matrix? I think to have a better idea and convince ourselves and the other to choose a method, this matrix still works as best. But how could we transfer our data to that matrix in case we understand we're in which stage? The project we make is simple, complicated or complex, or we will face a chaos. Do we have any chaotic project in our industry at all? Okay, for answering all we need to have parameters to check. Then we will find out our stage and get a better decision. Let's say together. In this table, I will put every part of the pipeline and ask teams about their ideas of making every part. The parameters could vary from project to project, company to company, and team to team. But for each part, you need to find these questions answers. If you know what you want in each part and how to do the things you want. As we're going to know about the possible making of Encanto, I guess a possible table could be something like this. I divided decisions to easy means we know more than 50%, mid means we're 50% sure, and hard means we know less than 50%. To how to rate, you need to have a list of questions, and based on their importance, they will give you a number. Then you add them and see how many percent they are. Let's take a look at this chart. I made this algorithm for showing what we should do if we know something or not. It says that if we know what we want, we will go to know how we make it. If we know how to make it, it means that the process ends and we will go simply make it. So that our project is in a simple part. But what if we don't know how to make it? It means we need to step further and ask about how to make it. And we face another how. This cycle continues until we learn how to make it, and then we will back one step earlier. What if we even don't know what we want? We need to go answer this question, that how we know what we want. If we find the answer, we will back one step earlier. If not, the loop continues until we find out. For this part, we need to be careful to not get stuck in infinite loop. If we couldn't find the answer for how we find what we want, it means we need more knowledge and experience. And this is not a suitable time for making the project. We may take it apart and see if we can make some parts and pass other parts to another studio. Imagine you can make pre-production of a project but can't go further for the 3D part, and you got stuck in a how loop. So you can ask an experienced company for making the part you can't. With their help or advice, you will make it easier, and you even show better ways of leadership. But if for every reason you couldn't find a solution to your answer or couldn't make your questions in the simplest way that you can answer, it is better not to accept the project and don't play with your reputation. As we talked about questions and answers, I need to mention that asking is an ability and we need to have knowledge of asking. Because this part is another story, I just mentioned some books and contents that could help you, and it is on you to seek them and find out more about them. I just insist that without knowing how to ask what, you always feel lost. Let us not be lost and get back to our topic. After making this table and answering each part, we can see the result and compare them to each other. Based on the result, we can make this decision. If the answers are mostly hard, we have a complex project. If they're mostly easy and mid, we have complicated. And if we face most of them easy, we have a simple project. What about answering all hard? That's right, we are in a chaotic project. Now it's time to choose a management method that works for us. There's another story that we need to know about the methods. In this chart, I simply explained the most known of them. They are divided into two major parts, agile and waterfall. Whatever acts like when we're going to do an easy job. Imagine you're going to make a tomato paste. The first step is to find a good tomato. You can even plan it yourself if you have time, or you need to buy them, wash them, throw them in a pot and let them cook. Depending on a cooking style, you may need to add seasoning. You can wash tomatoes before buying them, or you can cook them before pouring into the pot. You need to be patient that every stage passes. Then you will go to the next step. This is simply called waterfall. Can you make any CG related project like this? My experience shows in the best of luck we can have complicated projects. So they're not waterfall and they're agile. Wait, I know you're asking what agile is and how does it work, but I can answer this question in this video. From the next video to beyond, we will talk about it step by step, consider famous and useful kind of them, and we will understand which softwares are useful for which method. Until then, you have a lot to read and study, and I'll be back with another useful video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as a permanent tradition for supporting YouTube content makers, you should subscribe to the channel, like the videos if you want, share them with your friends, and spread your positive vibes in the comments. Till the next video, bye.